Okay, so apparently the SEC is filing fraud charges against Elon Musk. I'm not happy about that. Elon's a good guy. Now, he may have said some crazy shit. Look, but this is the thing about eccentric minds in our time. You have to give the leeway to those who are able to think outside the box and support them. Look, you're trying to attack one of the greatest entrepreneurs in the last 20 years. They've inspired tons of individuals. Look at what they've done. They've been able to take rocket ships that they can blast off and re-land. Like, that's crazy. Solar City, another great idea. PayPal did very well in the early 90s. Tesla, one of the lead innovators in the electric car industry, really showing us that not only can you have a sleek style luxury design car, but it is fast. And it outperforms most of the high-end luxury cars like Lamborghinis in terms of speed and handling. And that's an amazing thing. I think you got to give credit where credit is due. And regardless of what, look, this is why regulation gets in the way. It stubs progression. The eclectic minds that can think outside the box are usually the ones that end up getting in trouble a little bit because they push the boundaries. They break the rules a little bit. This is part of being almost a visionary. The regular conservative people that keep everything in check are not the people that generally think outside of the block and push the boundaries. And that's an important thing to notice, because if we keep ostracizing people that think outside of these areas to actually progress us forward in terms of business or ideologies or the technology that we're using, and they're really setting like a precedent for what we're capable of, if we push them far away, no one's going to want to take up those mantles. No one's going to want to put themselves at risk of being the next Elon Musk, when that is the exact opposite of what we should be trying to support. We should be actually nurturing people that do good jobs and bring new products to light. So with that in mind, let's take a look at this. So here we have the SEC holds a news conference. I'm just going to play this really quickly so you can hear these guys. They're ridiculous.
For example, Musk tweeted that current retail shareholders would have the option of continuing to hold their shares.
Okay, so great. So they're talking about Musk has wanted to take the company private, and that was a smart plan, because this is what they have to deal with at a public level. You have to deal with all this scrutiny. GoPro is a prime example. GoPro is a company that when they originally launched, they were doing great as like a private little firm, right? They were pushed forward by their own ingenuity, their own creativity, and their own passion. But as soon as they went public on the IPO, every 3 months, every quarter, they were held by their quarterly earnings reports to the sentiments of the investor, and that ended up destroying the company. They didn't know how to manage the public sentiment. What they were good at doing was pushing the boundaries of creativity in the world of entrepreneurialism and providing a product into a niche that needed to be fed. Now, GoPro's wildly over-exaggerated price during its original IPO in the billions of dollars would have been hard to keep anyways, but this is something that we see that's almost stigmatic of the .com bubble, where we saw massive overpriced evaluations of like Sun Microsystems in the early 1990s and 2000s. They were overpriced to a ridiculous, they were priced to perfection is what they would actually say, which means they would have had to have done amazing quarterly earnings with almost no employee expenses or any downside whatsoever, and you just can't keep up with that type of hype. So you're inevitably going to fail. They set companies up for failure by going public to some degree. And Elon Musk, I think he is one of those minds in our time that we actually need to support these individuals instead of crucify them for these what are silly mistakes. Okay, so again, let's listen to the rest of some more of this here.
Even though he had been told before he published the tweets that it would be very difficult for retail investors to remain invested in Tesla if it were private. And in fact, as he later admitted, there was no way for small shareholders to retain their position in Tesla.
Right. So any shareholder that would have switched over from the public listing of Tesla to its private firm, yes, of course, they would have had to liquidate and then rebuy back in. That's absolutely the case. And then here we'll listen to a little bit more of this because I think it's worth our time.
If it had gone private. Nor had Musk investigated whether this transaction, purportedly to be financed by a foreign sovereign wealth fund, would require regulatory approvals.
So the SEC is basically coming in and filing the lawsuit against Tesla and Elon Musk here because of a tweet that he made. That's how ridiculous these things are getting. Now, it makes some sense here, right? Because public sentiment is based off the things we say, and Elon Musk is extremely popular. The podcast that he just did with Joe Rogan has only over 14 million views. That's more than any of these Fox News publications will get on their nonsense too. So it's wise to keep in mind that their public expression is actually very, very valuable here, and it's one of the reasons why they've been so popular. Elon Musk isn't just the company Tesla, he is himself the brand. I mean, think about it. Steve Jobs was Apple. Even without, I mean, Tim Cook, sure, you're doing an okay job, but they're nothing without that CEO. And this is the problem. If we start curbing and stubbing innovation because the CEOs are a little too eclectic, then everyone should be going private, and we should screw the whole public sector because all they do is look down upon things that they don't understand. Now, this other girl comes in here. First off, I don't like the SEC. I don't think regulation is a good thing. I think it stubs progress, and although, well, you might think it protects the little investor from getting hurt, it actually doesn't. It often keeps them out because of the wild hoops that you would have to jump through to actually become an investor, and that's not fun. You would want everyone to be able to make a risk. It's just like jumping off of a bridge with a string tied to your feet. It's called bungee jumping, and you sign a waiver to do so. We need that type of regulation. You need to sign your rights away to play ball here, because if we continue to regulate for stupid, and you can't patch stupid, we're going to screw ourselves over by stubbing innovation, and it's extremely dangerous. So this girl comes on and talks here.
The need to be scrupulous and careful about the truth and accuracy of statements made to the investing public, whether those statements are made in a traditional form, such as a press release or an earnings call, or through less formal methods, such as Twitter or other social media.
See, so the SEC just can't keep up. They're going to be left in the dust. These regulatory bodies, they've always been behind the curve. And Elon Musk was actually one of the people who said this as a problem for focusing on artificial intelligence, is we are always years behind in regulating the new thing, because it's going to progress faster than the regulators can actually make up their mind. So I think the SEC needs to shut up, and we need to support brilliant entrepreneurs like Elon Musk for what they do. Now, again, whatever you might think of whether you like regulation or not, I guess it's not really part of the question. The question is, do you think that we should give more room to the eclectic minds of today and allow, I guess, an easier route? Because these people inspire countless individuals to go and do more in their society and in the world. And I think that's extremely important. It's one of the reasons why I like Elon Musk. It's one of the reasons why I've liked Tesla and all the companies that he's produced. And as Peter Thiel had said, and I quote this, I don't bet against Elon Musk. And all the SEC here has probably done is just increase his popularity because he's done a great job. Aside from that, anyways, leave your thoughts, your comments, your questions below. I just wanted to dive in this one because as an entrepreneur in this particular space, I think it's important to keep an eye on the public and the private scrutinies that take place, as they are becoming deafening sometimes. It's important. Give us those thumbs up if you like this content. If you're new to the Bear family, pound that subscribe button, hit that little bell, that way you'll be notified. Please join our Telegram channel in the links below. That way we can keep the conversation going when I'm not live or on the video. And the Bear family is full of intelligent, very caring and supporting people just like you. Steel with the Arcane Bear signing off for the rest of the day. Well, actually, that's not true. We're going to do a few more videos, so enjoy.